yesterday, Dropsite News released an original reporting, I believe, a scoop that they got that Biden officials admitted that they never pressured Israel for a ceasefire, as Israeli leaders boast of playing Washington. Quote, God did the state of Israel a favor that Biden was the president during this period. We fought in Gaza for over a year, and the administration never came to us and said ceasefire now. Then we hear from Ilhan Omar, and she really, makes her position clear. I thought that this was actually pretty based of her. I'll zoom in for everyone to see. She says, we all knew they weren't working tirelessly on a ceasefire, and it was all a lie. This is a pretty clear shot at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a clear reference to her moment at the DNC when they did not allow the ceasefire protesters to come in. The people had to spend the night outside of the United Center. They, completely shafted, ignored from the DNC, not given any opportunity to speak. And yet AOC kind of went up there, ran cover for the Democrats, and Ilhan Omar kind of clapping back and being like, that was a bad move. What was your reaction to this?
Yeah, this was actually pretty intense, guys. I mean, I know it's just a tweet, but Ilhan and AOC are two of the OG squad members. So this is some real squad on squad violence right here. Direct shot across the bow. This is not subtle. Ilhan is 100% referencing AOC's statement at the DNC, which, yes, was very cringe. And we criticized it at the time because, Zach, we were there in Chicago at the DNC. We
protesting.
We were protesting and filming some of the demonstrations that were occurring in the streets of Chicago. And the mood was not, it was one of like anger, honestly. The mood was one of anger from the actual activists that were there on the ground, because the thing is that a lot of people there, they did want to be excited about Kamala and they did want to support Kamala, but the Democratic Party literally went out of their way to give them a middle finger, to totally tell the entire movement to fuck off. And they went so far as to not include a single Palestinian voice at the roster at the DNC, not even like an aggressive anti-Israel Palestinian voice. They wouldn't even have a single Palestinian that was even willing to send the remarks they were planning on making to the DNC beforehand to like check in and make sure that there wasn't going to be anything controversial said. Right? Because Kamala, she was terrified of there being a bunch of headlines about how the DNC platformed anti-Semitism or something ridiculous like that. So it was a total spit in the face. And honestly, if anything, if AOC was going to speak at that convention in support of Kamala Harris, she should have used it as an opportunity to speak out for Palestinians, because of the fact that they weren't there to speak out for themselves. Instead of running cover for Kamala, she should have taken the opportunity to at least subtly reference the complete middle finger that had been thrown up at all of these activists, which for the most part completely supported AOC and was a big part of her support in New York and continues to be, right? So it was really unfortunate, and I think Ilhan Omar is 100% on point to say, we all knew it was a lie. You knew it was a lie. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and honestly, I think that there's a great path for AOC to take here that would actually be politically savvy for her. It would restore some goodwill with people who are deeply skeptical about her right now. And I don't think it would cost her much. And that would be if she came out and, as Matt Lexig just said, my colleague Ilhan Omar is right. I was trying to will something into existence given the stakes of the election now all too evident. But Kamala Harris and Dem leaders were unreceptive. It's doable and the right thing, as Matt Lex says. And I think that's exactly what AOC should come out and do. Because listen, guys, as somebody who, was absolutely repulsed by Joe Biden, but in light of his decision to step down and Kamala Harris taking the reins, I, did everything that I could to try and make sure that, I made the case for her, right? As hard as it was, we never lied. We never said, oh, they're working tirelessly for a ceasefire. We said it's probably going to be easier to push Kamala Harris than Donald Trump. And then we pointed to some other domestic issues where the margin of distinction was much wider. But I really do kind of feel where AOC was coming from, especially in the way that Matt Leck put it there, trying to will something into existence given the stakes of the election. A lot of people who, felt like AOC did, like in the face of Donald Trump, like I have to do everything in my power to help Kamala Harris. And that was a huge misstep for her to lie to the public from the DNC stage as they were giving Palestinians the shaft. That's nobody's going to come out here and defend that. I'm just saying I understand her instinct to try and help Kamala Harris win. And even though she made some missteps, I'd be willing to forgive her if she apologized.
Oh, I would too. And that's why I don't actually think it was an issue at all that AOC did speak at the DNC. Like, I don't have an issue with that. I wasn't critical of her decision to appear there. I just had an issue with the words that came out of her mouth that she didn't have to say. No one forced her to say those words. She could have tailored that speech in a way that, again, subtly, actually stuck up for Palestinians instead of gaslighting us all, right? Because people did desperately want to believe that Kamala Harris was different than Joe Biden. I desperately wanted to believe. And we might have even been grasping at straws at certain points on this show, trying to look for reasons why, hey, look, she said this 2 years ago. Maybe this means that she won't be as genocidal of a president if she's elected. See, a grain of hope we have, right? Like, everyone was looking for reasons to be hopeful. And I do think that's a good way that Matlick put it. She was trying to will it into existence. She was trying to manifest this reality. But ultimately, yeah, it was a lie on behalf of power. And it ultimately, boiled down to gaslighting activist group that was completely fucked over. And obviously an entire population of human beings that are, facing a horrible humanitarian atrocity. So it's unfortunate, but again, I'm glad Ilhan Omar spoke out. I will be interested to see if AOC ever addresses this situation, because it does seem like this comment is really, stuck, and people have not forgotten it. Like, not only did Ilhan just bring this up, but also the other day we covered Will Miniker's comments, Will Miniker of Chapo Trap House, and we, for the most part, disagreed with his statements. But one thing that we couldn't argue with was him, bringing up that moment and talking about how cringy it was and how it was just unnecessary lie.
Yeah, and did that clip go viral? It did, right? Right before that fucker died. The dude died that got her oversight committee position recently, right?
Oh, he didn't die, but he stepped down.
Oh, he stepped down. Sorry,
yeah.
I thought for whatever reason he passed away. But
no, his cancer is returned, so now he's announced that he's stepping aside from that position and he's gonna not run for re-election.
Gotcha. Either way, did that happen after the viral comments from Will?
Yeah, that happened like
yesterday,
like
right?
yesterday, last
ago.
night.
Yeah. Okay, that was very recent. Either way, does anybody know? I guess I haven't been following close enough attention. I thought the guy died. But is there going to be a new election process? Is there a potential that AOC is going to get that oversight committee position, or are they going to shaft her again?
From what I understand, unfortunately, no. AOC will not get that position, even though Greg Connolly will be vacating the leadership role, because I guess that she's not even on that oversight committee anymore. So now it's just going to go to like some other boring Democrat who's probably also 85, but maybe doesn't have cancer. So basically we're in the same position and AOC is still fucked, which is, again, really unfortunate because she would have been the perfect person to elevate in a role like that. It seems like such a missed opportunity.
Oh, of course it is. And it's honestly, it's just one of countless examples of the Democrats just fucking getting in their own way. How hard is it to recognize that AOC is a popular politician that you want to elevate the profile of in your party, right? The thing about it is, one of the things that separates the battle that the Democrats have with their progressive flank, Jasmine Crockett is going for it. Interesting. That'll be interesting. To be honest, I don't have like a unanimous policy agreements with Jasmine Crockett, but I like her tenacity.
Yeah, I love
like
her
the
energy.
fact that she doesn't back down from a brawl. I like that she told the fucking conservative pearl clutchers to shove it. So that's the kind of energy that maybe we should be bringing.
Yeah, I think that Jasmine Crockett is a very talented communicator. I know she has some issues, like some things I would disagree with her on. But as far as a communicator that the Democrats should elevate, yeah, she's so much better than any of these like old white men. She actually gets in the muck with the Republicans. I love when she called the governor of Texas Governor Hot Wheels and then refused to back down. In fact, not only did she not apologize, but she actually gaslit the critics and said, "Oh, I wasn't talking about his wheelchair. I was talking about the buses he used to transport the migrants on." So that was a brilliant move, fighting fire with fire. That's exactly what they always do. Instead of apologizing for saying some offensive bullshit, they just like gaslight you into thinking you're crazy. What? What? I can't believe your mind went to that, bro. You're ableist. I can't believe you thought about his wheelchair when you heard Hot Wheels. You
Wow,
fucking
Hot
ableist.
Wheels are cars, sir. Cars are not wheelchairs. I'm not sure if you understand what a Hot Wheels is, sir. That's a race car vehicle. Are you alleging that Governor Abbott can't drive because of his condition? That's
Yeah,
offensive. That'd be cruel and offensive. Wow, I would never stoop to a low like that. Apparently, your mind goes there. My mind does not. I love all people. One other thing I wanted to shout out, Gavin, that just blew my fucking mind. I saw this morning: bread sold in 6 states recalled.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there.